Hey, this is Jamey from Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanisms in the game Framework by Uwe Rosenberg. This is an abstract tile placement game from Uwe Rosenberg in which players are drawing tiles out of a bag. So each round, the current player will draw a number of tiles equal to the number of players plus one out of this bag. They'll put them face up on the table, and then the first player, that current player, will choose one tile. Each player will go around and choose another tile and add it to their tableau. And the first player, the current player, will also take the last tile. And that's actually my first favorite mechanism in this game. I really like when you're the current player that you feel a little special. You get two tiles instead of one. It's just a little thing. I don't know how Uwe decided to do that instead of giving that player only one tile, because they do get the first choice. But it feels good. It feels really good to be the current player and be. It looks. I almost like look. I played a 4-player game of this, and I really looked forward to my turn coming up because I knew I was going to get two tiles, and I could see what I could do with that. I think maybe the reason is that not all tiles are incredibly helpful. Sometimes tiles might kind of get in the way of the strategy you're trying to do because you're trying to align. Often color tiles with the same border. So for example, if I'm going after a bunch of tiles that have this brick border, here's another one that aligns with that. That's great. But if I have a tile that doesn't have that brick border, here's one, that might kind of get in the way of the group that I'm trying to form with that tile. But still, I really like that mechanism. My favorite mechanism, though, is the idea that there are no points in this game. It is a racing game. You are trying to race to put all of your tokens on these tiles. And it kind of flips how I think many games think about points, including many games that I've designed, because instead of accumulating points, you are trying to complete goals, and those goals almost appear to look like points. For example, this tile says, I need to have, connected to this tile, 3 green tiles. I need to have 3 green tiles connected to this tile. And once I do that, the second I do that, I put one of my little tokens on top of this little space right here to indicate that I have completed that goal. You can only complete each goal once, so I put a token there, it's covered up, it's done. And I've moved myself towards winning the game, and at least advancing the game and moving towards the end of the game. And so this feels a little bit like points. I'm not getting 3 points, and this goal would be harder if the number were 4 or 5 or 6. But I am almost getting rid of a point. I'm expending something to cover up this goal. It's just a little tweak, but it made a big difference in this game. We felt a lot of pressure, a lot of good tension in the game to complete goals as fast as possible and to kind of combo together various goals. For example, I had this goal that wants me to have 3 connected green tiles. This card right here, this tile, wants me to have 4 green tiles connected to it. And so I might want to orient those green tiles because they can score off multiple goals. I might want to orient them around both of these tiles so all those green tiles are connected or connected back to these tiles. It doesn't have to be directly connected. It has to be connected back to so that I complete both of these goals. So maybe on back-to-back turns, I complete this goal, and then I place a 4th green tile and I complete this goal by only placing a single tile. Those combos feel really good. And it feels really good that you're gaining the reward, the point or whatever you want to call it, gaining the token right away instead of delaying that until the end of the game and adding up points then. I think that's a really, really clever system in Framework. Let's see if there's anything else I wanted to mention. Completed the idea of completing multiple goals at once. That feels really good. And also just the idea that many of these tiles are dual coded in multiple ways, both for color blindness, because the frames, even though they have a color, they also have a unique material. You can see that as compared to the silver one, but also because many of the tiles have a frame and a goal. And some tiles have multiple frames and no goals. And some tiles have multiple goals and no frames. I don't have an example of that here, but the design of the tiles themselves, I think, is really, really clever. Yeah, those are my favorite mechanisms, especially the lack of a point system. Even though it's kind of a point system, you're getting rid of points and trying to be the first player to get rid of all of your tokens. I really like that system. If you played Framework or you've played a game like this, where you aren't waiting to the end of the game to score points, you're kind of racing towards a certain goal, let me know in the comments below what your favorite game is with that mechanism. Thanks.